Spiritual inspirations. Welcome to Spiritual Inspirations. I'm your host, Amish Patel, and today we're going to talk about Sri Sant Asaram Bapu, an extremely prosperous Hindu preacher. At 81 years old, he's worth over $134 million despite being in jail on a rape charge. 1,000 ashrams worldwide. It's a franchise. It's basically like a franchise. He has 40 schools, next generation franchise, and the size of his congregation is estimated to be at 40 to 70 million souls. Oh, what an inspiration. What an inspiration. So today we're going to talk about some of the tips, tricks, and tactics that he used to build this huge following. And you might want to take some notes because it'll help you avoid getting brainwashed by one of these psychos, or you might be able to use some of these tips when you're trying to build your business or personal brand. So make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe, support the ACC, and let's get into the video, shall we? You know me, I love the dancing. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, look at the crowd! Oh my God, so many people. What an inspiration, right? So many people. How do you get the people? Well, I'll tell you, singing and dancing, and he's really putting on a whole play. He truly is living like Hare Krishna in the Leela. Look at him. That's what we call a service in the spiritual community. I've always thought that Nityananda was like the guy who put on a show, and I've seen Nityananda do a little bit of dancing here and there, but like, not really. Nityananda's more of like a dress-up guy, and then he sits at his throne, and God is great. This guy, he's getting in the thick of it. He's like really doing like a dancing blessing, and he's really, you know, he's loving life. He's doing a little dancey dance. He's got two little wands, double wand. You know, I got the cane. I got this dragon cane, so can't really knock that, can we? This really is representative of their teachings though. And this clip number one really does show us tip number one, which is make sure you're dancing in life. In your own life, make sure if you're not preemptively dancing and being in the Leela, as they say, we are all supposed to be here having fun, loving life, celebrating life. But then you have a repressive culture, like in India, where they're not allowed to date. You know, I gotta say, in India, they have like these spiritual events where everyone just has to dance. But here, I don't see it as much in the West, you know, and they get a lot of Westerners. Right? And how do they get them? They organize the good dancing events. So you got to make sure that you're proactively going out dancing, because you don't go out dancing, you don't go out socializing, you're not out in the culture, in the community, within the Leela. Then guess what? 2 years later, you're like, I'm not feeling right. I'm going to join this guy now. It's like, well, you know, go dancing a little bit, right? Like that could be a part of the issue. They teach that philosophy. Some people call it karma yoga, but it's basically the philosophy that we are all but Hare Krishna in the Leela, meaning this life is a Leela dance. Yes, he's doing the dance. And it is a Leela, the simulation. And it's not even a game, because a game would imply winner and loser. It is a dance. It is a joyful, silly dance that we all play. And even sometimes when you pretend it's a game, or like if you're playing a game, that's just pretending. But in the end, when this life ends, we're all gonna go back up, become one again, and then we'll all just have this appreciation for each other, like, hey, good game in there, you know. But it'll be you talking to yourself. It'll be you talking to yourself saying, hey, good game, right? Because you played all the parts. Yeah, that's basically the teaching. This is a heart-centered teaching that you're not going to get it. I mean, I'll tell you this, the singing and dancing, you're not going to get it from these Christian preachers. They're not going to dance like this. They're very much masculine. Another great thing about these heart-centered teachings is that they are much more feminine. And they are much more about the joy and the silliness of life. So that's how this Babaji gets to get away with this. He's got a swing, you know, and the Hindus love a swing. The Hindus love a sing. Very indicative of the Hare Krishna in the Leela philosophy. So far, that's what I'm going to say. Tip number one, make sure you go dancing. Make sure you go to events. And remember, if you don't have any events to go to, you can join us here at the ACC. It's not a cult, it's an anti-cult cult. And we have a lot of great programs. I do a loving kindness meditation. At the beginning of my meditation, I like to do a little dance. I play music, because it's supposed to be joyful. I want to start throwing dance parties too. Just dance party would be pretty hype. Regardless, you know, this is really inspiring me. And our community here, our congregation, we should be throwing events, getting together, dancing, being joyful in life. Or else, that's how they get you. All right, and that's enough of that. Let's go to clip number 2, please. Clip number 2, roll it! And that takes us to clip number 2. This is him with the current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, but this is 10 years ago. So as a spiritual teacher, listen, this is one of the most powerful tips that anyone will tell you. As a spiritual teacher, you gotta be down with the politicians, you gotta be down with the celebrities, because now what he gets to do, this guy, even though he's in jail now, but what he gets to do is he gets to say, hey, you know the Prime Minister? I gave him the blessing. So that is a very good for the resume as a cult leader. Probably bad for the culture, because now you got a bunch of people just defending him blindly. You know, they're saying that he used a torch to attract the girls, and it's like, look, torch, sure. You know, that's nice that he used a torch. And at first when I read the headline, I'm like, torch, you know, that's kind of romantic. That's nice. And that's another, let's count that as tip number 3. They're always putting you in some kind of a silly story. That's one thing that I'm seeing a lot with these cult leaders, is that they're not just going to text you and say, oh, can you know what I mean? Like, that's so basic. They do these little weird little entrapments. The other thing that's weird about this article is that, you know, at first I see that it's a torch. It's like, okay, a torch. Instead of, like, he does a torch, you do a text, right? It's almost like having a bat signal for a booty call. It's nice. It elevates it. You could say. Problem is in the fine print. Weird that they put that in the fine print, that the girl's 16. That's a real sign of immorality and really of low vibration. How do these cult leaders get away with it? Like, he's just kind of in jail for life now. Even in jail, he is dancing, he is joyful, he's being silly.
कितनी बड़ी हो चाहे मुसीबत फिर ना टिकने पाए
so he's dancing, he's foolish, he's being silly, you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, yeah, he is a psycho. And of course, how does he get away with it? Here's a clip of him with this is a guy named Sabarmati. Big powerful politician in India. Big powerful man in the Hindu Nationalist Party, in the Hindu nationalist community. I don't know exactly what his title is, but this is him talking about the whole situation. Let's take a look at it, shall we?
जांच में लिखा है कि एक भी स्क्रैच नहीं है. हाँ.
Really? It's unacceptable. She's 16, right? She's 16. So it's weird that he's like, not one scratch. He's like, I looked at the report, not one scratch. So these guys are claiming that the whole thing's a fake and a fraud. They are clearly just openly on his side. Now, of course, Modi is not going to come out with this because he's an elected official. I think Subramaniam is in a position where he's heavily influential in the party. He might be technically retired at this point, but he's heavily influential in the party. He's in the game. He still is a very powerful man in the party, and he's basically denying all the allegations for Asaram Bapu. This is a big problem in the culture. India, it's a fucking nerd culture, and nobody's gonna call out these Babajis. Even my own family. They're gonna see this video, they're gonna be like, Amish, why you talk? Stupid. You stupid. No respect. Stupid. And you have no respect, and why you talk? That's what my own family's gonna say. Still, I'm out here calling out these psychos because, look, I'm not just out here calling out these psychos. I have a loving kindness service that I teach myself. Let's go to the next clip, people. Let's go to a revelation.
Many of his followers,
I like the editing,
whose faith Asaram played, still cannot stomach that their guru did rape a teenager.
Anyway, that's what the BJP guy's saying. Let's see what the original accusations are. Such a silly Babaji. This is 43 seconds.
He raped a teenager
on
threatened her family.
I'm sorry.
Betrayed the trust of all his followers. 77-year-old self-styled Godman Asaram will now spend the rest of his life in jail.
Look at this guy. Oh, this is the difference between a criminal and a Babaji. Criminal, they do this. They're scared. They're afraid. Babaji says, I bless you. I bless you. You've all sinned. You've all sinned. Oh, got a little gossip from inside the Hindu community. So remember the BJP guy I was showing you? The Hindu Nationalist Party, they don't like him either. But he is also Hindu. And his backing is so powerful that the Hindu Nationalist Party, the BJP, instead of coming out straight up and saying like, oh, this guy's a criminal, whatever, what they're doing is they're pretending that the other guys put him in jail, and they're putting out videos like the one I showed you. Yeah, that's the theory. That's the theory going around. It's a very interesting theory. It basically shows you how powerful his following is. And that's a very powerful brainwash tip. You know what I'm saying? You got a powerful backing with you, then those people are getting riled up, then whoever arrests you, that person's going to get the rage. Life sentence. Oh my god. Yeah, dude, the laugh? That's wild. That is like a lot of people in America too. They get caught and then they're like, didn't do it. Fuck you. Can't get Babaji, can't get Babaji. That's what he's doing. But then, watch what happens after.
In jail.
Clearly he doesn't have his third eye vision because he would have known what was coming in the future.
Is now rapist Asaram. With
oh, Babaji said. Oh, Babaji. What happened to Babaji? I like that. First he's just like, fuck you, can't get me, can't get Babaji. And then the second time he just, ah! He's just out. Come on, dude. It's unacceptable. This is what else really shows me that he's not really tight like that. Is they sent an undercover videographer from a major news organization. Let's take a look at this.
After spending a few hours at the ashram, Asaram summoned India Today's undercover reporter. That's when he made his intent clear.
Yeah, this is really where you lost me. Because if you're a real Babaji in the game, people should be wanting to bang you. And you should be in control of your meditations enough that you're banging people reasonably. Not every girl who comes in, oh, I'm a refugee fleeing from North Korea. Oh, what can I do? Oh, yeah, sleep with me. Just, come on. I'm not saying she was a refugee. She was going undercover as someone who needed shelter, and he's trying to bang her. It's unacceptable.
Asaram wanted India Today's woman reporter to spend the night.
I mean, and
with
I'm
him
not, listen, I'm not
sleep
like a prude.
next to
I'm not a, nobody's saying Babaji has to be celibate. Nobody ever said that. I'm saying Babaji can bang. I'm okay with it. But it's got to be like consensual, of age, like there's got to be enough girls around that are, you know what I mean? And that's where I feel like Osho, the Bhagwan, he really did have that, I think. You know, I never saw any like sex scandals like this where he's like, oh, but have sex with me. No. There's enough traffic coming in that someone will just be like, hey, I'll bang you. This forcing shit, it's too much. It's unacceptable. Hey, keep your game tight then. Listen, you can't commit the kinds of sins you committed, sir, without getting a low score. Even though I did really enjoy the dancing and the full production that you put on, Babaji, that is very powerful teachings. In the end, keep your game tight. Mental power, mental awareness, spiritual awareness to know this is not the time to ask, to bang. That's it. The righteousness, quite frankly, just is not there, and that's the end of the video. And make sure you don't get caught up with these goddamn psychopaths. You sign up at this digital ashram instead. Thank you. A lot of psychos to go through, so I gotta go. We got more psychos to bring you. Anyway, listen, moral of the story is a lot of psychos out there, they're trying to get your money, they're trying to get in your pants. That's why we are here to raise the vibration by raising cult awareness and letting you, the people, know that you should not be joining cults like this. And if you really feel like you're having trouble, check out Steve Hassan, check out the different resources that are available for cult survivors, and check out Cult Rehab. We have a podcast right here. We interview cult survivors. And really, you should be joining an anti-cult cult, which is what we're trying to build here. It's not a cult, it's an anti-cult cult. We'll never do the things that these guys are doing to abuse you. Do we have an ashram? Yeah. Does it rip? Yeah. We have an incredible banger ashram. It's beautiful. It's located on an electron cloud in your heart, a beautiful ashram. And we're trying to build that ashram, and we can only build it with your loving kindness and your support. So make sure you hit the thumbs up and let the community know that you want to raise the vibration. Okay, final score is a 2. And that's final, and I don't want to hear it.
मेरे को तिहाड़ जेल में जाने का भी संकल्प हो रहा है, सच बोलता हूँ। ऐसे ही जाऊँ, नहीं तो महीना 2 महीना सरकार ऐसा कोई योजना कर दे मेरे को रहने दे तिहाड़ जेल में, सारा जेल बदल दूँ, नहीं जाऊँ। अरे कैदी के नहीं जाऊँगा, शहंशाह होके जाऊँगा।